G'day guys, today I'll be taking a look at a few pretty impressive Game Boy Advanced tech demos and seeing how they run on real hardware. We'll be flashing them to a physical cart. This is just a bootleg Pokemon game using our Joey Jr. Alright, let's get started. First up we have GBA Craft, which is a 3D block building game using tiles or sprites from Minecraft, or very similar ones. It's more of a paint program than a game though. You've got 15 total blocks you can draw with. I'll go through all 15. 2 of them are animated, which is pretty cool. Movement is a little bit tricky. You can move forward and back, left and right like a first-person shooter, but there's no strafe. So if you did want to view the other angle, you'd have to sort of drive forward, spin around, go back, spin around again. Sort of like that. Oops, I missed a spot, but that's fine. And here's the first animated tile. As you can see, it's only got a few frames, but it's pretty cool. And the water one. And the very last tile is that. If you hold R and press up and down, you can fly up and down. And holding L looks up and down. It does also strafe as well, which is pretty cool. Didn't know that. But it is reversed, which is a bit annoying. So while holding L, left moves right, right moves left, up looks down, and down looks up. Holding start lets you change your blocks as mentioned. Pressing select brings up a little menu. So floor toggles the floor grid on and off. I don't know if you can see it, so it's off now. If I press it again, it's back on those little dots. Spin locks the camera to the middle. So if I close the menu, pressing left and right will rotate it around a center point. So that's a pretty cool feature. You can still zoom in and zoom out using up and down. Help shows the keys. Turn spin off. Save saves the file, and load loads a file. I have created a little, I guess a level, a few hours ago, so we'll see if it loads. So I press load, and there it is. We'll close the menu, and you can see it all. Might go to spin. Zoom in a little bit. Adding lots of the animated tiles does seem to slow it down slightly, as you can see. Still quite smooth. There's no frame counter, so I'm not sure how fast this is running, but it'll be very cool to see this fully fleshed out into a game, or even add multi-level support. Okay, that'll do it for GBA Craft. We'll take a look at the next one. Next we have Quake, which as it sounds is a prototype of Quake 1. This is more of a full-featured game, but still only the first level, not many enemies, anything like that. From what I can see, you've got the blue spider type enemy, which is very deadly, and then in the next room there is a yellow, so it looks like a dog. So for controls, you've got forward, back, left, right. L, strafe left, R, strafe right. Start brings up a little menu. You can change the brightness, music, volume, that kind of stuff. Select, doesn't seem to do anything. Now if you hold down L and R, and you can press up and down to look up and down, and it does spring back when you walk forward. L and R again, and press select, brings up a debug menu. So you can turn no clip on or off. Show spans, which shows the boundary boxes, I believe. Draw flat light, which is, it removes all the textures. It does look pretty good for what it is. Makes it a lot easier to see. Very plain looking though. Turn it back on. Okay. And the other settings don't really do too much or aren't very interesting. So they're the interesting ones. There is a second weapon. The grenade launcher. Which is here. It's called the pulsed manifold. You can blow yourself up with it. And A jumps. These yellow enemies, not threatening at all. You can just shoot them. They don't really do anything to you. I shot myself. The blue ones are extremely deadly. Sort of one hit, there you go, I'm dead. So you don't want to get the aggro. It does sort of lock on when you get close to it. So I'm not touching any keys at all. It is following it by itself. That's pretty cool. In the lower left, you have the frame rate. So 126, 127, nothing on screen. It is extremely high. Very, very impressive for Game Boy Advanced. It was a fairly large ROM. It was 32 meg, I believe. So it's one of the bigger ones. And it's only a first, not even a full level, just a first stage, I guess. So if they did decide to create a whole Quake game, you could imagine it'll be quite large. And again, there's that blue thing. I won't get his aggro. There we go, got him. This part here sort of looks like episode 1 map 2, I believe it is, with the ogres at the start. I got the shotgun again. Unfortunately, you can't change weapons, or I haven't found a way to change weapons, so whatever you pick up is the weapon you use. It's a very dark game. There is a skybox outside, I don't know if you can see it through the window. It seems to work similar to the Doom skybox, how it's a static image, but it's still very neat. I think there is one more rocket launcher in one of these rooms. No, not that one. There's a rocket launcher. So there's not too much to do, but it is a very impressive demo nonetheless. Oops. It does have really good lighting effects, as you can see. It's a dark hallway, and the grenade lights it up as it flies through. And I did trigger aggro of the spider. I think that'll do it for Quake. We'll load up our last game. Last up, we have Tomb Raider. This is the Open Lara Game Boy Advance port. It's fairly fully featured for a prototype or a tech demo, but I believe it only has a few levels, not the full game. So we'll turn the brightness up so you can see it a bit better. Leave the FPS on. I don't think VSync does anything. Controls, rumble, there's no rumble in this, so we'll leave that off. Swap A and B, it's fine. And the sound's fine. So we'll start in Laura's home, or Lara's home. So B jumps. A doesn't do anything while you're running, but if you jump and then press A, it sort of leaps. If you've never played Tomb Raider before, it does have tank controls. How up and down move forward and backwards, and left and right rotate. Sort of like how you drive a tank. Like that. If you hold down R, it sort of does do a strafe. Very slow, or a sidestep. So we'll quit out of that. Press select to bring up the menu, press down, and we'll go to game and exit to title. So we'll go into the main game. We'll go, yep. Alright, so now we're in the first level. It is still a little bit buggy. I don't know if you saw it, but I was unable to move for a few seconds. So if you get up to a wall, if you hold up against it and press A, it'll climb. There are some bats coming up in a second, so we'll change to the pistols or the shotgun. There's a bat there, so press select. That brings up your inventory. We'll go over to try the Uzis, press A to select them, and A shoots. That was pretty easy. So although it only runs between 15 and 20 frames a second, it still feels quite smooth. There's no lag spikes or anything. It's just a little bit slow. It's not too bad. If you played this on an old PC back in the day, you'd have a pretty similar experience if you didn't have a high-end computer. That's not too bad. It's a very impressive port anyway. If you look at other Game Boy Advance 3D retail games, like Nightfire, Asterix and Obelix was another one. I think Driver was one of the big ones. They were impressive for their time, but this is really impressive. I'm a little bit lost at the moment. I guess that'll do it for Tomb Raider. Overall, all three demos were very impressive. The Minecraft one was pretty neat for what it was. It just needs a lot more work to be a playable game, but it's a pretty cool tech demo. The Quake one is extremely impressive, but it is fairly bare bones, not fully fleshed out. It was obviously a prototype, never went anywhere. But the open Lara Tomb Raider one, which is this one here, is a pretty fully featured game, so that's pretty cool. Alright, thanks for watching.